Yeah, I mean, what basically happened is, like a few weeks ago, I've been doing stand up forever, and my boss and everybody knew. And but then like a few weeks ago, I just get called into this meeting with like no warning, no nothing. Nobody knows what it is. Somebody's like, "Yo, you should call the union. This seems bad." So we show up in this meeting, and it's just like fucking. It's like a Bolshevik execution, dude. It's just like my crimes were read, and then they were like, "You're fired."
What?
It was wild. There was like no discussion, no warning, no nothing.
So Jad, when you went in there, did they like bring up like clips or tweets and stuff, and they're like, "This is like,"
no.
Is that what they were doing, or they're just saying in general, we can't have you work here anymore because of you doing stand up? We're like, what did they say?
They in that first meeting, they said nothing, dude. They just said like, you broke values, you fucking.
Did they say
ISIS
how?
Motherfucker? No, I mean, no, it was super vague. And then I found out later from the union guy, he was like, "Oh, it's because of your reels on IG." And
how is he getting the information? Like they're just like they're just kind of telling shit.
Well, he's the union rep, so if you fire a guy, the union's gonna call you up.
Gotcha.
What's going on?
Right.
Man.
Yeah.
That does sound exactly like you said. Just like they laid out your crimes and just like their decision was already made on what was going to be done there. There was nothing you could say back to them of like, well, like, what was it? I could like, it's insane that like it comes to that because like you said in a post you made online, which I saw, because we're, friends on the socials or whatever, but like, it's crazy that like what you're doing, it's not like you're just screaming obscenities and slurs into a microphone. Like you were actually performing, as a lot of people hate saying it, but it is an art form and people were laughing. So like you were accomplishing the goal.
And what you do in your free time should be your business. It's also wild to me that they gave you no warning. Like, why can't they just have a discussion and go, "Hey, look, this has been brought to our attention. This might violate," and talk to you about it first and give you a chance to even have a decision. Like, I would assume most likely you probably would have continued to do stand up anyways, but why not even give you a chance?
I don't know. I mean, in fairness to them, I don't post the clips where I'm dropping the N-word talking about Trump won. Because they'll make it to the edge.
That's in private.
Yeah. That's in private. I keep that offline.
You save those for the private gigs at the country clubs. Yeah, that's.
No, it was wild. I mean, it's just kind of like, they're like extremists, dude. I know extremists, dude. I worked in all these fucking countries. These guys, they're all the same. If you're like too much of anything,
you're too much of a risk that they're like, let's just cut them.
Wild.
Well, I think for them, it's like just the way they see the world. It's like,
yeah,
they're very ideological people, some of these guys. And so it's like, it's the same thing as like super religious people.
Yeah.
You can be like, they just become like dogmatic, and it's like almost a good versus evil type thing. Like in their minds, they're like completely righteous. They don't see anything wrong with what they did.
Yeah.
Damn. So what is like, are you like still talking with union people? Like what would be like the outcome, like your desired outcome of this situation, or like what is your like next move here?
Dude, I'm trying to get my job back and walk in like fucking Vince McMahon, dude.
Yeah. Is there any recourse that you can take?
Yeah, we're
to
doing
fight this?
it now. So yeah, the union's fighting it now because everyone's pissed.
Yeah,
because they're basically, this whole thing kind of like destroys the union contract. So you can just fire somebody for like values. Like it kind of means you can fire somebody for anything.
And what are their their values that they're claiming you're even violating?
Well, I forgot to even.
It's like
I forgot
Islamic
to even
law or something.
Islamic law. Is that what you said?
Sharia. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, I didn't even ask you to even lay out. I mean, we know from just looking at the post. If you don't want to say like who it's actually with, like, would you at least like describe like where you work at so people can like get a handle?
Oh,
on, like...
no. Yeah, people know. It's it's WHYY. It's the public radio station, the NPR station in Philadelphia.
Okay.
But what do they mean Islamic values that you're violating?
No, I'm just making a joke that they're the Taliban.
Oh! I was going to say.
I thought you were saying that you were referencing some sort of Islamic values that they don't like. They're not with.
No,
I'm
they're
like, wait a second.
They're like, Jad, you're an enemy of Islam.
Oh my! that is crazy, and you're a veteran too.
Yeah.
So that alone, just saying that they fired somebody that like meets those, like you have that like that's who you are as a person, and they fired somebody like that for making jokes about your life. Like it's insane.
Also, how well are your reels even doing that this is even a concern? Like, are they getting millions of views on these?
I mean,
I wish, dude. That's the thing. Somebody was like, somebody was interviewing me, and they're like, "Do you think this is like a cancel culture?" I was like, "You can't get canceled from bar shows, dude. I'm doing bad. I'm doing very bad."
That's even worse. That it's like it's like not even a concern. That it's crazy that they're even.
You got somebody at WHYY that's got a burner account that's one of the 7,000 views on a video, and it's just like, holy shit, there's people watching this.
That's so fucked up, dude. Like Dan and I were talking about this last week, and I'm like, if somebody is in. Not that I'm comparing stand up to this in terms of similarities, but like let's say for a hobby you're in a screamo band on the side and you do it on the weekends and whatever, and like obviously maybe that's not your boss's taste in music, but that they could come in and fire you because you go that's against our fucking values. It's like, well, you can't do that for fun. Like that, how is like that's not just your business what you do outside of work? Like it just seems crazy to me.
I mean, that's the thing that a lot of the union folks, it's an NPR station. It's pretty like woke people that work there. I'm not going to assume that they're particularly like fans of stand up or my stand up in particular, but they're all creative people. So they all have like side shit. So the point they were making is, are you going to go through like all of our like lyrics, or if I put together like a one man show, is that going to have to be like the censors at WHYY are going to have to go through it?
Yeah.
But what was so disheartening is like, the reactions I would get online. Most people were supportive, but then you'd have people that are just like very smug about like, well, what did you think was going to happen? Like they act like I forgot to move my car, and it's like, it's guys like that make me think China needs to win. They're just begging to be subjugated. It's like you really don't give a shit about like freedom of expression at all. Do you think
exactly,
dude.
I like what is that? It's like this is what you get. Like what is this that you're? Dude, what point are you trying to prove?
That type of stuff is usually coming from people that have never done one thing close to anything creative as doing a 5-minute set about your own life and making strangers laugh about it. That like people on the internet I'm talking about that are making comments like that, like what did you expect type of thing. Like usually those people have never come close to doing anything. Not that you, me, or Jad or any top of the comedy game right now, but we're at least doing something and have go out and do sets and do material. Like it takes a lot of balls to just start doing it. So like it's just crazy that people on the internet and see why.
I think it's almost even more offensive, but the fact that none of us are well-known comedians and that we're the ones that are not obviously you and I in this situation, but Jad unfortunately being a victim of somebody who gets in trouble for this, where it's like we're not even the ones that people are really listening to. It's not like we have millions of views on our stuff and we're getting in trouble for what we do in our spare time, and for that a company can come in and that's just so absurd to me.
Yeah,
I think what they don't understand is because they'll see like big comics doing like offensive shit and getting laughs, and what they don't understand is like those comics have an audience. There's people who want to go see those guys. We're performing for drunk strangers. So like you can't go fuck it. Like the laughter is proof that most reasonable people find this okay,
right?
Because I don't have like a hardcore Jad heads showing up fucking chugging beers or whatever. It's just regular dudes.
Yeah,
exactly. And I've seen, you at open mics plenty of times. We've crossed a lot of paths, and I've seen a lot of your different material. You do different stuff at different mics all the time. We haven't been on like a showcase paid show or anything like that, but I've seen your material enough in a lot of different types of it, or different bits that you've done. Not once did I ever know or have an inclination that you worked at WHYY. So like, what are they so afraid or worried about?
That's what I was going to ask, Jet. Like, what was your actual role that they could even claim that it was a conflict of interest?
Well, the thing is, that's the thing I brought up to them is so they said in their rationale, like we had another meeting where like after with the union back, this is where like 2 white ladies called me a racist, which was incredible.
Wow. Oh my God.
And also an anti-Semite. It was wild.
Oh my God.
I was like, dude.
Yeah, Jad the racist.
You forgot Frankenstein. You forgot to call me fucking Dracula, dude. What else?
Right.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So what else happened with them?
But they were like, basically, they say that somebody within the company who is not like probably not a union guy, probably like just some office worker, saw one of my reels and recognized me just because they know my face. So nobody made the connection like from my comedy from the outside. If somebody worked there, made the connection, saw my face, was like, hey, this is a guy, and brought it up to management. So the point I made to them was like, well, hey, I've been doing this years and no one has noticed, and it's just somebody internal. That means that like nobody actually connected, no audience, ever connected that I work here. But their rationale was like, what if somebody did? That's why we have to like can you immediately, which I think, I don't know, boys. I'm like optimistic. I think we're gonna fight this and win, just because their position makes no sense.
And I hope you do. But what was your title though? Like, what was the role itself?
Oh, I was a reporter.
Okay.
So it sounds like you at least have a good relationship, you said before, with your boss and like your direct superior and other people you work with, though, right?
Yeah, these are just the people that have a problem are like they're like suits.
Yeah,
but
so
like,
I still don't even understand where it's like, why can't you just like, obviously you're in the context of stand-up where it's pretty clear and obvious that stand-up comedy is, it's that you're there to tell jokes. So why can't people just identify that as separately, where it's like you're a reporter, that's what you do for work, and then when you're doing stand-up comedy, you're there to do jokes, just as if you were going to go to a fucking poetry reading, you're doing poetry, you're going to play in a band, you're there to play music. It's like, why is it so difficult to see those things as separate?
Yeah,
I think if you're like very ideologically extreme, which these people are, you can't separate like what people say from like their beliefs and like their true core selves.
mm-hmm.
Right.
So people like that, when they watch stand-up, it's whole predicated on like, you kind of put people in like an uncomfortable situation and then you release it, and that's kind of when people laugh. But these guys, they're so like, their own beliefs are so a big part of who they are, like that they can't even conceive that, someone's saying something because it's funny.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Not because like, I think this is an absolutely true thing.
Exactly.
This is like my position on this.
And
they can't conceive of it.
Yeah, and a lot of it is they see somebody just talking into a microphone. A lot of people can't see past the fact of like, it's just talking into a microphone, and like they're saying stuff like it. I think a lot of people just can't move past it. Like there is a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of practice. You got to figure a lot of it out, as opposed to somebody that, like you were saying, Brendan, someone's in a band. Like, it's like, that's like a performance. A lot of people just see stand-up as like, you're talking to a microphone just saying wild shit. I can do the same thing, but like there's a difference between getting laughs from it and then people that think they can do it usually don't.
Right. And just assuming that like, hey, everything that you say up there, you're saying is completely what you believe and is your truth, as if there's, you can't be up there, exaggerating to any extent to get laugh, which, is obviously so much of stand-up. It's just to me, I'm just like, dude, are we not all fucking adults? Can't we just sit down and have a discuss? Like, it's just, it's so stupid.
Oh, well,
yes. But speaking of telling jokes and people not laughing, it is about showtime, boys. So I was gonna
say, we just saw that. Thanks for taking the call this time, and
good luck, dude.
You have a good show, and we will be seeing you around the scene.
All right, appreciate you, boys. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Later,
We'll see
man.
you.